We just got this car back. This car is affectionately known by Angie and I as Dragon or Water Dragon, and there's a story behind that. Originally, when we got this car, it was full of water. We drove 2 hours to go get it, and the whole entire inside was filled with water. You know, we just needed a car, so it was like, it's a Civic, it's fixable. We went and we bought it. We drove it like it was a swimming pool full of water. What we did is we had stripped the interior out, cleaned, vacuumed, and everything the interior. It got a new computer. There was nothing wrong with the computer, but the harness was bad. So we replaced the whole entire engine harness, and we went through the engine and did a whole bunch of work. So when we did the transmission, we decided to go overkill on the cooling since it's cooled by the radiator by default. We put a 1997 Chevy transmission fluid cooler on the front end to help prolong the life of the new transmission we put in. Back then we decided we wanted a little bit different of a spoiler on the back compared to a big outlandish spoiler. We wanted one kind of subtle, but kind of had like a reptile looking scale thing. So we'd pulled this spoiler off of a Pontiac Grand Am, probably like a 96 or something, and put it on the back. Came with these American Racing rims, which were mags. This car eventually got all 4 tires new on it. Since our previous roommate had it, I helped him pull whole interior out. Before he got it, Angie reupholstered the back seat with a 2001 Civic's upholstery, so it's got kind of like a geometric pattern on it. But the front seats, all the trim and the carpet and everything, since it was stripped before, when we had to strip it to vacuum the water and stuff, we had put a new interior into it. The door panels on these notoriously fall apart. So I'll either have to make a new, like a door card, or I'll have to source some panels for this. And we had put a new Pioneer radio in and a new bezel because the bezel was cracked when we got it. The moonroof still works. Everything's good with that. I'm gonna have to replace the handle. But we got this back and it's come full circle since me and Angie built it, and now Angie has a new car, which we had originally traded him if he helped us get that red one over there, the 94. We would just trade even with him. He helped us get it, but he didn't pay a lot of the fees and stuff he said he would help us do. After everything happened and we all moved, he decided that this was the way to make things right, was just to give us the car back, which I appreciated, because I actually liked this car a lot. In between Angie and I, we had did everything to the car to make it super stable. So by the time he got it, there was nothing wrong with it other than he needed to swap the head out because this valve cover bolt right here was stripped in the head, so it leaked around the valve cover gasket right here. He got the parts for it, but never did it. He didn't give this car to us until one day the water pipe O-ring, one of them had popped and it was leaking water out. So it was like, well, if you got to do that, you might as well pull the engine head off and replace it. Just do it in one shot. That was the main reason. Okay, so now let's go over the things that need to be done. We have the water pipe O-ring needs to be replaced. Coolant reservoir hose has popped off of the radiator. That will need to be fixed. I need to check that radiator and make sure that that's reliable. I know the coolant fan's been replaced. That filter needs to be cleaned and or replaced. That filter needs to be cleaned. The head needs to be replaced along with the head gasket. This all needs to be clean because that valve cover has leaked everywhere. I know for a fact that all 4 struts need to be replaced. Outer driver tie rod end on this side has been replaced along with the knuckle on this side. We did that in the past. We'll be keeping the VTEC solenoid for the new head. Probably could stand to have the fuel filter replaced. The headlights bug the hell out of me because there's one that we put on that's like brand new and the other one's all foggy, and it drives me nuts. So I'll probably replace that with a new one, because I've tried to shine that one up before and it doesn't really take it. See, I know both oxygen sensors, the one on the catalytic converter and the one up here, has been replaced. Well, and this one I wouldn't be here. It's like an intermediate pipe and then the catalytic converter one. The battery's been replaced recently, so that I don't have to worry about. The brakes, I need to check the front brakes, because we did it when we had it, but it's probably time. All the tires are good, and it does have a spare, so we'll have to worry about that. Door handle needs to be replaced. Either a new steering wheel or steering wheel cover. That side skirt needs to be tucked. This fender, I want to sand this fender down and paint it white to match the rest of the car. I want it just white with a black hood. I think that would look better. I need to put a new ring for the bumper retainers. The bumper could stand, throw some paint onto. It's got some chipping here and there. I'll probably go through and clean the ignition system. We replaced all that when we had it. Now let's look at what fluids look like. Definitely needs an oil change. We'll add that to the list. That's fine, because I'll be doing the head gasket anyway. How about brakes? Needs brake fluid. Obviously there's no water in it because it's run out the bottom. How about transmission fluid? That should be fine. Yeah. Doesn't smell burned as fuck, so that should be good. Oh. Hey, that might be my old one. And free screwdriver. Neat. Timing belt's still in there. I'll probably replace it anyway because, you know, just to be thorough. I need to switch the harmonic balancer pulley out because I know that that was one off of a Z6 and this is a Y8, so I need to throw the Y8 one back on there. Okay, let's look at suspension. Okay, so we got the wheel off, the brake disc, the studs, the knuckle, and the caliper and everything look okay. The brake pads still have some meat on them. I checked the tie rod ends. Inner tie rod's good, surprisingly. This here is the outer tie rod that I had replaced a while back. And you can tell that there's been a lot of maneuvering going on with this car because this boot is cracked. And that was only like a year and a half ago. That needs to be replaced. So that's how you can definitely tell there's been a lot of back and forth and highway running and acting like it's a big sports car. That can happen. Or if you drive it like that, know that those are probably going to wear out pretty quick. So that needs to be replaced. So outer tie rod end on this side. I can see that the sway bar links need to be replaced. Those look pretty rough. Bushings look okay. Of course, obviously the struts are blown. They look good, but they are not, definitely. Upper control arm, I replaced that. That still looks good. Nothing wrong with the bushings up there. Let's see. Underneath, lower ball joint looks good. Nothing wrong with it. Wheel bearings still okay. No wobbles. CV axle's still good. I actually replaced that and I just jiggled it and there's no jiggle in it, so that one's good. Boots are still intact. Nothing wrong with that. Lower torque mount. That one needs to be replaced, definitely. That harmonic bouncer pulley, I gotta switch that out for one that's of original. That's the AC belt hanging because we had unhooked the AC compressor because the AC compressor was shot. It was putting strain on the engine. That belt right here doesn't look too good. It's showing cracks through the ribs. That's going to be the alternator belt that'll need to be replaced. I've got one of those on hand. Power steering belt looks fine. I replaced that recently. And the crankshaft positioning sensor in the bottom of the timing we replaced when we had it. So that's still good. Okay, that's all for this side. Let's check the other one. Here's the passenger side. We've got the upper control arm boot. Looks junky. Like that needs to be replaced. This brake caliper, the top bolt is just loose. Bottom one's still tight. So that needs to be checked. That bolt, let me get it out here. Huh, bolt's still good. It's not hourglassed or stripped or anything, it's just dusty. So that can be torqued. Might clean it and put some thread lock in it or something. Outer tie rod end, again, boot looks like crap, needs to be replaced. Inner tie rod, there's no play. Inner tie rod looks like it's still good. Sway bar link bushings, right here, sway bar link, that needs to be replaced. And all the other bushings look okay. How's my low ball joint looking? Lower ball joint looks good. If I replace the knuckle, of course it'll come with another one, so. But that one's still good. Shock, of course, strut needs to be replaced. CV axle's good. That we replaced when we had the car. Another one, torque mount, that one's busted, needs to be replaced. That looks like it for the passenger side. Okay, so both caliper bolts, this one and that one, were both loose. So I went ahead and tightened them all the way, so those are nice and snug now. Now we're going to put the wheel back on and check the rear. Found a little fun around the back driver's side. So we know the struts are shot on all sides, but somebody's been in here. Somebody shoved a spring spacer up in here, I guess to try to calm down the saggy ass. And of course it needs another rear upper control arm because that's shot. Somebody's been in here, as when they did the tires they actually balanced them correctly. That's actually interesting. Instead of just throwing it on there saying screw it, they actually put on the right sticky weights. So tires were actually done at the correct place. That's good to know. The exhaust system is holding on extremely well, I might add. Catalytic converter still in there too. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do, we gotta fix this water leak up so that we can check the cooling system and make sure all that's okay.